Hey guys, it's 8:26 p.m. on October 18th, 2017, and I want to just take you quickly through this video here. It's a 37-minute video that was made by one of the local TV stations in Santa Rosa. This is the first night of the fire, and it's an interesting video. I spent several hours now going through this and watching how this fire spread, and what interested me the most about this, well, there's a couple of things. I'm only going to address one of them right now. And that is that this fire spread exactly how I would have expected, and exactly how I did expect that forest fires, brush fires, open air fires, wildfires, whatever you want to call this, how it spreads. Now, I wasn't going to bring you this video because I didn't have any way of showing you the aftermath until the other day. I just happened to be blitzing through some videos, and it just so happens that somebody drove by these properties to give us, it's not a great view, but at least I can show you what these properties look like after this fire had passed and was out. So let me just move you through this fire. This is a 37-minute video. The link will be in the description. And there's several things I want you to pay attention to, but I'm only going to, for this video's sake right now, I think I'm only going to tell you about the basics. And that is, this fire does exactly what you expect. The darn thing's blazing behind these two houses. You can see it comes up around from behind the house. The garage is definitely on fire. I don't know what the heck they've got going on there, but something nasty, and this thing just moves down the fence. It catches the whole backyard on fire. It catches the house, the grass in between here. The wind is blowing like heck. You know, this is exactly what we expect from a windy night on a bad fire. And the neighborhood's on fire. This is exactly what we expect. This fire is going to move up towards around the houses. It's going to catch all this brush here on fire, and the winds kick up and just push this thing forward, and the grass all catches on fire, and all these shrubs catch on fire. It's just exactly what you would expect. It just keeps getting worse. It goes around to this house, and it comes along this fence. There's just not much here to see, except for it does exactly what you would expect. Exactly what you would expect. Now, the firemen don't do exactly what you expect. They keep driving by, which I'm sure the property owners here weren't very happy to see that. But you see the forest, just this fire, just the forest fire, the grass fire, whatever you want to call it, it moves along the pattern of least resistance to the most flammable stuff in its path, and it consumes the debris of the shrubs and the kindling. Everything that's kindling goes up, and the fire moves forward, okay? High winds, remember, we were told that the high winds are what made those houses burn to shreds, right? Okay, now watch this fire. It moves forward. It comes forward here. Now this is down the street. There's anybody else who's doing investigation on this, I'll point you to the fact that this is right down the street from the Silverado Country Club here. And you may or may not have heard that the Silverado Country Club slash spa, the people at that hotel experienced a sudden power outage where their cell phones went dead and their doors locked. These people had to escape through the windows. So something quite different happened in this area, literally 2 blocks away. But the aftermath of the spillover did create a forest fire, a brush fire, which is what we're watching now. The news reporter is going to walk down the street a little bit and get back in focus of the 2 houses. All he's done here is walk down the street. So I'm going to push it there. Yeah, I'll just keep forwarding this a little bit, and we'll get back in view of those 2 houses. This is still the country club there. Now, this is those 2 houses again. You see the car here? This is the roof or the chimney, or maybe that's a house behind. I'm not sure what it is, but you can see the whole backyard is now completely consumed in smoke. And you see the power lines behind the house. You see that this fire is now moved underneath this car. It's caught the fence on fire now. We're nearing towards the end, but you can see the fire is. Here's a police officer in the house next door, making sure nobody's there, I guess, or just going in for the heck of it. I'm sure he's trying to see if there are people there. And you can see the fire's burning a little bit on the side of this house, still towards the back of the house. Now, in 1 second here, they're going to come out and they're going to go to this house next door. And I'm going to let this play for a second, because I want you to see how this fire progresses and consumes the entire front of this entire front of that building. So it's easy for me to skip over this by clicking in the wrong spot. So I'm just going to let you watch him. He follows this cop over to the property. They open the gate. And you can see, watch what happens to this pine tree. Just like I told you guys, pine trees just go, whoom, just like you expect them to. I mean, that's just what they do. Pine trees burn super, super, super fast. I know I've lit a billion bonfires with pine trees before. So now watch this, watch this. The whole front of this just goes up in flames, just like you would expect. Okay, and look at the grass. It goes all the way down the fence. And this whole thing just totally burns. It's like just kaboom. The whole front of this property just goes up in flames. And in just about 2 more seconds, you're going to see this whole thing is just completely consumed. Everything you would expect to happen in an outdoor fire happens in this outdoor fire footage we have here. Everything flammable catches on fire as the fire goes blitzing around and catches everything on fire. This is just exactly what you expect. The car, the grass underneath the car catches on fire. The car itself catches on fire. The fence catches on fire. All the stuff around the house totally catches on fire. Okay, this is what we expect. This is normal. This is normal. Okay? This is exactly what we expect when you have an open air fire, a brush fire, a forest fire, whatever you want to call it. Okay? Thank you. I'm glad you agree with me. Now, let's see what we see happening here the very next day. Oops, wait. The very next day, these people are driving down the street. There it is. This is it. This is on the Atlas Peak Drive and Harpin Road. This is the house. I'm going to slow it down here. This is the house. There's the car that was on fire. There's the fence that caught on fire. And all the crap around the house is on fire, was burned. Look at, see? The shrubs, the grass. Everything around there that you would expect to have caught on fire did catch on fire. Let's look at this one more time. Now they're going to flip the camera around to the other side. Here. Just a second. Unless 2 fires went through here, this is the very next day. Chronologically, it's when the videos were posted. Unless they had another fire the very next day at the very same place. But even chronologically, it wouldn't even make any sense because it was not burned when we started watching it burn. See? Now this is it. That's the house. That is the fence. That's the house. There's the car. Now, unless I'm missing something, unless this really isn't, I mean, I know that this is the location because this person shows Atlas Peak and Silver Trail, and that's right by the Silverado Country Club there. And I looked on Google Earth, and this is what it looks like. But here's my problem with this. My problem, obviously, I mean, I hope it's your problem too, with this whole thing, is that all the crap around this house burned, but the house didn't burn. Which is exactly what we would expect in these kinds of quick-moving, open-air fires. That's not what we saw in these areas here. That's not what we see here. It's the exact opposite. Here, the brush and all the greenery around this stuff stays. Doesn't burn. It doesn't burn at all. But the entire mobile home park burns. You guys, there's something so messed up about this. There's something really totally screwed up about this. Now, I'm showing you this with the permission of these 2 people, Rosie Okelly, because they've been kind enough to drive through and film some of this damage here. The first thing I want to point out here, I've got a bunch of observations to bring to you guys. I'm debating whether or not I should, what the heck, I'm just going to bring this to your attention right here. Okay, I'm going to take you here. Now, this is something that just really seems strange to me. It's right at 1735. I want you guys to listen to this noise that this guy attributes to propane tanks. And I have not been able to confirm or deny the existence of propane tanks here, but I can tell you one thing. The noise that you hear in the middle of this fire does not sound like a gas valve to me, I mean, I don't know. I don't know, but the way you guys should go to this video, I'll put the link in the description. I want you to listen to this video. I know it's not going to pick up the audio like I can hear it, and I don't know how to get it to you guys in its raw format. But when I play this audio, you guys, if you're on my computer, if you're listening to it from my computer, it sounds like 3D, like a 3D jet going over your head. Okay, now maybe that is how propane tank lets off the sound of gas, but it happens, and it just sounds really bad. So I'm going to let you guys listen to this because this is worth noticing, because there is something very, very strange happening at the Silverado fire down the street, okay? So just listen to this, okay?
It's hard to describe how it is with the wind blowing and how hard it is to function with the smoke. I'm in a relatively safe area, if you could call this safe. So that's the only reason I'm here. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here. I was talking with the firefighters down at the previous fire we were at live about the wind conditions, and everybody was extremely concerned about the wind and how dangerous it is, and I take it very seriously.
Okay, you guys, I don't know what you think about that. Now, he goes on to say, oh, well, that's the propane tanks from behind these buildings. From behind these buildings, which are very far away. This sounded like it was being recorded right over his head. And I don't know. You guys, if you believe the media, you believe the media. I guess that's up to you guys. But I'm going to play this one more time because this happens a couple of times in this video. But it's, I don't know. To me, I don't believe the propane tank thing. I looked on Google Earth and I couldn't find propane tanks, but I'm not a pro on this. And this certainly doesn't sound like the venting of propane tanks. I don't know. I guess I'm just going to play it for you guys and let you decide yourselves. That sounded like something very, very different than the hissing of a propane tank. And I read how they work and stuff. I don't know. I'll just let you guys hear it one more time.
It sounds like a jet engine.
Yeah, there's something wrong about that. Anyway, so another couple of things that have been bugging me, and like I said, these people here have done a very nice public service in bringing us videos from on the scene, on the ground here. And I don't know if you guys know this, but these neighborhoods are all on military lockdown now. I think that's worth noting. Military lockdown. It might be the National Guard, it might be the Army. I'm not exactly sure. I know that the National Guard has been brought in, but even the residents aren't allowed to go back. And I don't know. There are just some things here that are just very disturbing. Like we just saw in that one fire, all the shrubs and stuff burned. But that's not obviously what we see here. I don't know if I really have to bring that to everybody's attention again, but I just thought it was worthwhile showing you the fact that we've got, you know, military dudes with guns literally blocking people's access to this, and the press has been allowed in. There's just some really messed up stuff here, you guys. Just totally. I guess I don't need to tell you that this is all very messed up. One of the things I want to show you is that, okay, one of the things that happens when a certain density of shrubs and trees, it depends on how long the trees have been exposed to the 5G, but light shrubs like this in particular will definitely do this. They will bend when they are in the face of, or in the direction, the trajectory of a millimeter wave or microwave. And there's something just shocking to me about how these bushes, if I can get the computer to play, how these bushes are just completely pervertedly distorted and bent and twisted. That these shrubs are all bent over as a telltale sign of being exposed to 5G. They did some testing out here in western Michigan, and I noticed that some of the taller trees, even the thicker trees, will just bow over time. But it doesn't have to happen over long periods of time. It can happen with a very quick pulse, that a tree will just bend and take a completely different form. And this just really, this to me screams EMF damage. And there's a couple of other things too I can take you through to show you on these videos that just scream EMF damage here. The trees are, trees take their shape, guys, just in case you don't know. Trees take their shape by something that's called phototropism. And it's just a fancy way of saying that there's a hormone in plants, an electromagnetic hormone that actually responds to light. It's a light sensitive hormone, and it actually influences the arc and the reach of the tree so that trees will naturally grow towards light. But when you use electromagnetic frequencies, it interferes with that phototropism. And maybe you've seen, like, over the last 5 or 10 years or so, branches and tree branches have gotten really crooked and gnarly looking, and it's almost as if they don't grow towards the light anymore. They're responding to other things. Well, in a very heavy, hard dose of electromagnetic frequency, you can get these skinnier branches and trees, shrubs like this, to just bend in really messed up ways. You guys may see, like, cedar trees near some of these towers. Depending on how the frequencies are being pushed out, you'll see that the cedar trees will just part. They part like somebody just combed a bad haircut on them, you know, they just part. Now they go back together, and these trees may actually rebound. They may actually retake their form because they didn't die. See, that's another thing. These aren't fire burned. These are charred. But see this arch? This arch is not, trees won't move away from fire. They won't bend away from fire, but they will bend away from electromagnetic frequencies if the pulse is strong enough or if the duration of the pulse is long enough. And that's just something I wanted to point out to you, that these shrubs just don't, these shrubs just look freaky. Not these, but the ones that I was just showing you there. How they're bent over like this, how they're bent over the wire. That's just not good. There's something else going on here. So, I don't know, maybe, now I'm looking at this right now and I'm seeing that this is a power box of some sort. So maybe it's the reaction to the power box over time. But I don't know. If that was the only thing that looked weird, then I wouldn't really be that worried about it. But let me just forward through some more of this video. I just thought it was really interesting that these guys have the fences up around the properties, and they say that they're concerned about looters. The only thing I can say about that is give me a break. I mean, loot what? You can't even loot a splinter out of these places, you know? There's a security guard, but he's not a security guard. He's our National Guard, and these places are in lockdown. All right, let me take you to another one of their videos here. If I can find it. Maybe I'll save that for another video. Yeah, I'm going to do that as another video. Okay, guys, take care.